Hey guys, welcome back, it's Ripe again. In today's video, an entitled Karen customer wants me arrested after I refuse to give her free games at Gamestop. I am the owner of the store and she ends up assaulting me. Here is what happened, let's dive right into the story. As the owner of a GameStop, I have dealt with so many entitled people and Karens that I thought I was immune from being shocked. From kids destroying displays to parents getting mad why I won't sell their 5-year-old a rated M game and everything in between. I want to share with you all though the story of what is so far the worst Karen that has ever walked into my store. Now, I did not see the start of all of this, but once I heard somebody yelling at one of my employees, I stepped up to the register and sent him to the back to sort games, which is our code for go in the back and calm down for a few minutes. I find this especially useful when a customer is wrong to take the employee they are yelling at and get them out of the eye line. Me, I hear there's an issue over here. I'm the owner and I can help you. Karen, this idiot employee does not know what he's talking about. Me, whoa, okay, I wasn't here for that, so can we just start over? I'd be more than happy to try and help you with what you need while all being calm. Me asking customers to basically start over when they are screaming about the last person is something that I've good luck with. So when this customer Karen actually stopped yelling and calmed down, I thought things would go well. Karen, okay, well, I have this game console and I was told that GameStop does trade-ins. So I wanted to give you the console and trade it in to get these games. We buy used games and game consoles, so I assumed I understood what Karen wanted. To sell a used system and get it as credit towards her purchase for the day. Then I saw her put the console on the counter and realized what was gonna be the problem. It was an Xbox 360 and it had looked like it had been through war. It was dented and scuffed and had a weird sticky film covering some of it. I knew that I was not gonna be able to take this for anything, but I was hoping I could get away with doing it in a way that did not get her yelling again. I told her that policy says I need to make sure all systems work before we can buy a used system. She assured me that it worked and crossed her arms, telling me I was wasting her time. I had to smile through the whole thing and plug in this nasty console. Of course it did not turn on and I knew that telling her this was not gonna end well. Me, okay, well, I plugged it in and it doesn't seem to be working. We cannot take a used system if it doesn't turn on or play any games. Karen, well, it played some games at some point. I think one of the kids shoved a peanut butter sandwich in the disc thing or whatever. You should be able to just clean that out and it will be as good as new. Me, unfortunately that's not something I can do. We cannot give you anything for this system. Karen, no, you said you do trade-ins and I wanna trade this system in so I can buy these new games. She drops 3 PS5 games on the counter, all of which are at least $60 each. Even if this thing worked, it would not be enough to pay for one of those games, let alone all 3 of them. It is an old system and that alone makes it not worth much store credit. Me, I cannot take this system. And by the way, even if I did, it would not be enough to pay for any of those games. If you want, I can ring those up for you, but that's about it. Karen, you clearly don't know what trade-in means. I want to speak to your boss. Hello? Who is in charge here? Me, as I said, I am the owner and there's nothing else I can do. You can either buy the games or leave, ma'am. Karen, I'm gonna leave the system here and just take the games then. Me, feel free, but those are just empty display boxes. I could not help but smile as she got angrier at that fact. And then, right in front of me, she called the police telling her that the employee at the store was scamming her and refusing to let her leave with her purchase. This was gonna be fun for me as I knew I was not gonna get into any kind of trouble. This was not the first time police have come to the store as we have an issue with potential shoplifters in this location. First time a customer, or I guess not customer, has called them on me though. I wait and soon enough 2 police officers that I recognize come in. They come to me thinking I was the one that called per usual, but Karen stops them and tells them that she called. She tells them that she traded in her brand new Xbox for a bunch of games and I agreed to the trade. Then I supposedly tried to sell her only empty boxes and stole all of her money as well as her system. She demands that I get arrested and they make me give her the games that she had bought. The police questioned her story and even questioned the very disgusting system that was sitting on the counter. They asked me if it ran and I told them it didn't and I couldn't take it because of that. I asked if they wanted to see the purchase history to show that I never made a sale in cash or on card for those 3 games. That she was just holding display cases and didn't pay anything just yet. They told her that she couldn't just take games, and she insisted that it was what trade-in meant. That she could trade in anything video game related for anything else in the store. They explained to her what I did before, how that doesn't make any sense, and that is not what trade-in meant. She then finally admitted that she did not pay for the games, but said she deserved the games for free because they were of equal value to her broken console. Also, that I was pretending to be the owner of the Gamestop and she wanted me arrested for fraud. That did not happen, of course, and police told Karen to take her broken console and get out of the store. She picked it up and I really thought she was just gonna leave. Instead though, she flung it at me and I had to duck behind the counter to avoid getting hit in the head. I took the console to my shoulder and it hurt. I came up to seeing her being handcuffed by the police and asking if I wanted to press charges for assault. I told them yes, of course, and to get Karen the hell out of my store. Since I pressed charges, I had to go and make an official statement and all of that. It also meant that I got to find out what happened to Karen though. So it turns out this was not the first store she had gotten into fights with people in. She was banned from 3 stores already to my knowledge, and this was her second time. One ended up assault. It was clear that she was not gonna learn her lesson with just a slap on the wrist, so she got sent to something small like 6 months in jail. When she gets out, she's already going to be banned from my store, and I hope it serves her right. We are the only GameStop in the area also, so she cannot just go to a nearby one if she ever wants to do a legitimate trade-in again. And yeah, Ripe Stars, it is just outrageous that you are not even safe from Karens anymore in video game stores. These entitled people pretty much show up everywhere and can ruin the day for everyone. However guys, I gotta say, I really do miss the good old times of buying physical games in a store instead of just downloading everything. And by the way, do you remember the times when you could rent out games for the weekend or something and then bring them back? Or if you had a modded console, you would rent out the game and then copy it or something. The good old times, I kind of miss them. Anyway, the next one is titled, Always Treat Your Employees Well. My bookkeeper reminded me of this now that she is retiring. I had forgotten how she came to work for us. She has been our mother hen and office fixture so long that I forgot. Anyway, close to 25 years ago, I was estimating and quoting a metalworking job, factory expansion job about 100 miles from my home/shop. The owner was berating a fairly young bookkeeper about a computer glitch which was her fault and using completely inappropriate language. When we went to the job site, he explained how she only had a local college degree in bookkeeping and business, and if he did not keep her on the back foot, she would want a raise and benefits. And mentioned that she had to keep the job because she was a single mother. We cut steel, installed it, so I saw this girl cry, work through lunch, be the last one to leave her department, etc. I talked it over with my then girlfriend, now wife, about poaching this trained girl, since we desperately needed a resident bookkeeper and comptroller. Like, needed one 5 years ago, but if I did, it would burn bridges with a customer. Don't think I did anything that was not goal-oriented for me/my business. We had serious issues with taxes and compliance at the time. My girlfriend went to the job site with me, sit with this girl, a young lady, and slipped her a business card not knowing if she would want to move from a city to the countryside. She had worked there 5 years, get no raises or benefits in 5 years, desperately wanted another job, but she knew the boss and owner would kill her job reference since she saw him do it before. My wife rented her a little place for cheap and she started with us and untangled the last 3 years of mess in about 3 months. For the first time ever, the monthly reports were on time and the tax paperwork was done on time. We even managed to talk the IRS and state revenue out of most of the fines and penalties. She quickly became my girl Friday since she killed problems in minutes that had plagued me for years. Actual education and experience along with being sharp as a tack. She met her husband here, had her wedding lakeside here, they built a house here, had 2 more kids here and spent 25 years working at my place. High grand poobah of the office, killer of paperwork dragons. She and my wife have become great friends since they both lived city lives at one point and we are all county folks. Although I kept a professional distance, so I was quite surprised when she broke down in tears at her retirement get-together, saying she owed her entire life to us. Well, no, she doesn't. I was more than willing to throw money at the paperwork monster to get the tax and compliance people off my rear. She saved the company. Model employee, wonderful wife, great mom, and an all-around good person. She does not owe us anything. She earned everything. She worked hard to get it. It's my good fortune to have been in the right place at the right time and the right time in her life. I'm sure with her intelligence, willingness to work and learn, she would have done well once she got away from that a-hole. This was my revenge. I knew the customer, I poached her from getting into all kinds of tax, employee pay, and state federal regulation problems about 6 months after she left. However, I just found out when working with the state and federal tax people she leaked about his shady dealings when we dealt with labor relations people, and she leaked about his shady dealings and so on. She knew exactly where to point the investigators and they did not disappoint. I've seen her use the innocent, "my last employer did this way," or "my boss is going to be very angry I messed this up," when talking the people out of fines or penalties from back when she didn't even work here. So thinking about it, I know how she worked it into conversation without actually snitching, and they ran off foaming at the mouth and left us alone. What a sly girl. However, it was our sly girl. He lost the company inside of 18 months of her being here. It's still there and producing, just under entirely new owners and management. Don't screw with the people cooking your books. She, by the way, got us through every audit from every agency. Even a super audit from the IRS about 7 years ago, and got complimented from the auditors about how organized and efficient she was and how pleasant she was to work with. She said it was easy when we followed the rules, you know, the rules I didn't know about or understand. My eyes simply bulge at the mention of taxes and easy in the same sentence. And yeah, Ripe Stars, it is pretty easy. If you're the boss of a company, never screw with a good employee. Or in general, never screw with employees. This stupid boss had to learn the hard way. And the next one is a malicious compliance story. So I work as a minimum wage cashier at a discount store. I see a lot of people in a day, especially people who know how to do my job better than me due to their lack of experience and profound understanding that my job is the easiest in the world. Now, I always shut that down instantly in the classic corporate happy public service employee way. Well, that actually makes it a little bit easier, but thank you so much for helping. It's like I'm talking a toddler down from an upcoming tantrum, but I don't leave room for arguing. It's almost like I'm playing a character, honestly. It works for me, but I never just let someone do something stupid like letting them walk out with a bag too heavy without double bagging it, or letting them leave putting their receipt in their bag if it looks like they might want to return it. However, not today. It's Saturday, so it's busy all day. As I would finally get a minute or get my other work done, someone would come up taking forever to consider the impulse buys while I'm stuck waiting for them at the register, getting nothing done. This woman did that but twice. She got up there, pondered for a minute, got a line behind her, and decided to go look at something else. I'm stuck with this line till just before she gets back and ponders again before finally getting to me. She's your average looking middle-aged soccer mom. However, she's already getting on my nerves, but hey, it's Saturday, every customer gets on my nerves, so whatever. She's got a lot of larger but lightweight items with some smaller items like bags of candy and socks. So I'm getting half of it in one large bag, half of it in another large bag, so I go to get the second bag, handing her the first one, when she goes, "No, I don't want a lot of bags. You can fit the rest in there, it's fine. You should ask before getting more bags. It's your job to do things how the customers want and asking. Otherwise, you should just know to do one bag if you can. It's wasteful. I only want one bag." And I thought to myself, wow, it sounds like she's never done retail a day in her life. She must know what she's doing. Now, it's also worth noting that she had a few heavier items, not many, but a few. There were glass jars of sauces with lots of pigment and staining properties. It's also worth mentioning that she was getting some chips that came in bags with pointy, sharper edges that eat bags for breakfast, and the bag gets too heavy and they press into the sides at any angle and that bag's toast. It's also worth mentioning that she was getting several white clothes made out of very stainable material. Nice clothes, honestly. She said they were for an important party she had to go to that night, bragging. Normally I would double bag, which would keep the sharp corners in check. But she was right. She only wanted one bag, so that must be all she needs. So then I get the glass jars in with the clothes nested in there, nicely spaced out where they wouldn't hit each other with clothes between them, and the bags on top spread around the top so it was easier to lift the bag just like she wanted. That damn bag was already looking like it would bust wide open any second when she took it from the counter. And luckily, a line had not formed behind her yet. Just someone looking the impulse buys over, so I couldn't really step away, but nothing to do but watch where I had a clear view of the parking lot. I watched as she struggled out the two front doors, no automatic, got 1/4 of the way to her car when the bag burst. Glass and sauce everywhere, said that she had like $15 worth, about 5 jars. She struggled to force them back into the bag, hoping she could at least pile them in her arms with the bag holding it together, trying not to cut herself on the glass she had wrapped up. However, it broke some more and she tried to salvage it and balance it back up. She failed, gave up, grabbed as much of an armful as she could. She had to take like 5 trips and her clothes were ruined. Maybe after over a year and a half of cashiering nearly every day, I know what I'm doing, right? Well, that's a shocker. And yeah, Ripe Stars, it is good to teach these kinds of people a lesson because some people just always think that they know better than you. It's some of the things I hate the most, honestly. Especially when the person in question does not even know better. Last year, our HOA had its yearly meeting. For context, it's a small condo community with relatively few complaints and the HOA is generally okay. Anyway, back to the meeting. In attendance was a representative from the management company, the 2 board members, an old couple, and myself, of course. One of the issues they brought up was that someone had cats that would walk around the shared property outside, the horror, and I knew whose cats they were, but I love these cats and they are the sweetest things. The HOA president starts going on a rant about how we need to find out whose cats they were, so they could send a notice to the owners to tell them to keep them inside or on a leash. I thought that was the dumbest thing I had heard all week, but the property manager said she would get it taken care of. Later during the meeting, they mentioned how one of the board seats was vacant because somebody had moved. The old couple did not want the seat, nobody else had responded to the emails asking for volunteers, and since I was the only other person in attendance that could, I was the only choice. Since then, I have done my best to stop enforcement of any BS rules, and as of the last meeting, I am now the president of the HOA. The best part? The property manager conveniently forgot to follow up on the cat situation. And yeah guys, essentially that sounds to me like a deal with the devil, becoming the devil yourself by becoming the HOA president. Anyway, I guess in this case it worked out. The next one is a multi-update HOA story and it is titled How I Took the HOA to Court and Won. Hey, sorry this is so long, I'm turning to Reddit because I and my neighbors really need some insight. I moved into my community 5 years ago in Arizona and we were actually very pleased with our HOA. About 2 years ago, the HOA board decided to switch management companies and it was the worst decision ever. They hired crappy landscaping companies, we had water leaks in our grassy areas, the community was dirty, etc. So we decided to get involved and started participating to the meetings, offered help and more. But it turns out that one of the HOA board members, we will call her Lisa, is also an employee of the management company and therefore approves expenses that are submitted by them. I guess they need 3 votes out of 5 and she is always one of 3. To me this is a huge conflict of interest and I don't know if it is legal, but this is not even the worst part. Our community started getting worse and worse, it literally looked like a dump. They have not serviced it in over 9 months, all while collecting our money. Given that there are houses in the 600k range here, the homeowners, rightfully so, got together and complained. So we usually vote by email, but one of the more reasonable HOA board members who is suspecting fraud and wants Lisa off the board suggested that people show up in person to vote so that the votes are counted fairly. Homeowners showed up and voted in person accordingly. 2 new board members got voted in, Lisa and another member got voted out. Everyone was happy and the new people got announced by the management company. This is where it turns sour. As soon as the new board members mentioned wanting to switch management companies, hire new landscaping and so on, the old management company announced that the elections were rigged because homeowners were influenced to vote in person, so the vote was not valid. And that therefore the new people who are elected are not in charge. They keep having meetings with the old members and refuse to acknowledge the new ones. The new board hired a lawyer who contacted the old management company asking to give up the accounts and the funds. They won't. They are ignoring all the letters, all the meetings the new board has and have private meetings with the old people. Yes, Lisa too. The new board started a petition to have them removed and they need 100 signatures. Lisa goes to our mailbox every night to rip the petition sign off. Meanwhile, the management company decided to raise their fee by 5 times. They did not raise our payment, they are just cashing in thousands of dollars for fees. I would really appreciate literally any insight or ideas, whether it is legal or just opinions. This is getting so stressful, it's making me want to sell the house. Thank you if you made it this far. Edit: Lisa is not actually going into our mailboxes, she is ripping the petition sign that is posted on a board next to our mailbox. I should have specified that. Edit number 2, the new board members cannot hire another management company because the old one is holding on to the funds and accounts and therefore still collecting our money. Edit number 3, to those suggesting that we stop paying our monthly fee. I personally did as soon as they were terminated, and so did other homeowners, and well, we received statements saying we were past due on our accounts and that the penalty would be a lien on our house on top of collection fees, late payment charges, etc. Using this edit to also say that the new board did hire a lawyer. This is just me trying to learn about other similar experiences and explore all possible options. And then a user in the comments said in regards to OP, not a legal expert, but in my opinion, it definitely does not sound legal what the HOA is doing. Especially when you hired an attorney to represent your side and the management company is refusing to cooperate. The ripping down of the petition sign-up sounds illegal as hell as well. Here is hoping that you find some answers and get rid of all the corrupt folks involved. And then another user said, I'm wondering if there is not embezzlement they are also covering up. They have to know that they will eventually lose and are crossing a line, aka refusing to honor legal proceedings. The only possible reason I can imagine for this is to buy time to cover the theft. And now guys, we will read the update to the story, and it says, last time I did not mention that there is another member of the old board who was voted out. I will call him Rob, who has been in charge for 10 years. It is my belief that he used our community money for personal use on many different occasions. For example, he said that he purchased some chairs for our parties and meetings that he keeps in a storage unit. No one has ever seen these chairs as we hold our meetings at the community park that has tables and benches already. Funnily enough, he recently suggested that we bring our own chair next time. Each time we asked the management company to provide proof of payment or invoices for more reckless expenditures, 17k in landscaping extras, and they never did. They usually take $1,500 monthly as their fee. In May, they took 9k, and when the new board asked why they charged 9k, they replied by saying that that is the termination fee. Except they then refused to be terminated and didn't give up the accounts or keys etc, but still took the money. I left off saying that the new HOA board members, one especially, I will call her Bridget, started a petition where 100 signatures needed to be collected in order to call a special meeting and get the self-claimed board members forcibly removed. I guess there is an HOA policy where if some HOA board members don't agree with the election results, this meeting is then necessary to have them removed. Despite Lisa going to the mailbox every night, sometimes twice a day, to remove our petition signs, we managed to collect the 100 signatures and will have the meeting next week. Bridget, who hired a lawyer, also filed a complaint with our state superior court. I later found out that this community management company already had 17 civil lawsuits filed against them by other communities, and ours is the 18th. My thoughts: I think Rob and Lisa are in on this and personally benefited from taking our money for 10 plus years. I believe the management company does not want to give up the accounts because it would expose their fraud. Does anyone know how long these lawsuits take? I hope to be back with one final update soon. This all started as a rant, but I think that people should know about all the little ways these HOA people use to scam entire communities of people who maybe are too busy to even question them. And then a user in the comments said, make sure to ask lawyers if they can file an immediate injunction to stop the collection of dues, fines and lien processing while this goes on. Also seeing if they can file to freeze the HOA funds held by management while litigation begins. And don't forget to include lawyer fees, damages and back payment in your judgment. Buckle up as lawsuits drag on, but it can be fun to fight the fight. Another person then said, whenever a board or management company refuses to show financial information, there is a guarantee, which is a law in most US states, that there is fraud and/or embezzlement. In theory, your association has D&O coverage in your insurance policy that covers illegal actions taken by the community directors and officers and should be able to help pay for any attorney costs to fight the old board. And yes, your premium will go up and not all policies are the same, so speak with the insurance agent, but considering how expensive this may get, it is good to know all of your options. I was the first board president of my association when we hired the management company that I also worked for. I knew that it could look like a conflict of interest. I made sure that I was available to be one of the board members to show all of the management companies around our property so I could ask specific questions. When it came to voting for the management company and signing the contract, I did not attend those meetings. I wanted to make sure that there was no way anyone could say that I influenced the decision. I did not even make myself available for questions when they were discussing the various companies, but did give balanced advice on each company's pros and cons, including the one I worked for. And now, ripe stars, we will read the final update to the HOA story, and it is titled, I am here with good news. After collecting 100 signatures, we were supposed to hold one final meeting to have the old board members voted out. And the homeowners showed up. We were able to re-vote the old members out and they were banned from running again for at least 5 years. All the keys and accounts were given to the new board and a new management and landscaping company were hired. There is now an ongoing lawsuit where the old management company is being sued for all kinds of things and being asked to pay for the landscaping damage they caused by withholding the funds and keys to the water. I'm not sure how long this will take, but the fact that we have new people in charge after so many years is a win. The community already looks so much better. My main takeaway is, I used to be one of those "who's got time for that" people. But these HOA people literally count on homeowners to be busy with work and family life to take advantage of them. My old HOA board got away with it for 10+ years. If you think something fishy is going on, get involved. And with this, we have reached the end of the video. However, if you cannot get enough of my content, please check out my endless playlist, where you can find thousands of hours of content. In addition, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss any of my daily uploads. Thank you so much in advance, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.